It's not the strongest species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It's the one that is most adaptable to change. Charles Darwin said that. Did you know that a possum could thrive in just about any environment? Urban, rural, suburban, any one of them. And it's not because they're super smart or super strong, it's that they're super adaptable. So we're going to talk about the possum mentality. Stick around. What's up, warriors? This is Kyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training, here to share with you some warrior skills and drills that anyone can learn and everyone should know. If you're new to the channel, welcome and thanks for stopping by. If you already follow us on social media and that's how you found your way over to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button and that little part where it says all notifications, so YouTube will let you know when the next video drops and you get all sorts of cool content from here as well. Alright, so the possum mentality, in a nutshell, is the idea of being forward thinking. So a possum isn't like nailed down to anyone, this is my tree, or this is my cave, or this is my hole, or wherever it's gonna live. It's always ready to get up and go if it's gotta. And it's always looking at wherever the best resources are gonna be. And it's this kind of like mentality that it has, that it's always looking for like the best resources along its way, and remembering where some of those resources are for like coming back to later on. Now, the possum mentality is I think it's a pretty popular one in the survival community, and definitely in the prepper community, and definitely, as far as, martial arts and self-defense and firearms training. It's really like an important mentality to have in any environment, regardless of what your field of endeavor is. For instance, you ever make like, oh man, there's nothing to eat in the house. And all of a sudden you start going through the fridge and you're like, oh, we got a bunch of leftovers, and somehow you make a meal out of like what's at hand, as opposed to having to go food shopping or having to order in or any one of those things. Now, I think of my grandfather. He's got these jars, right? And in his garage, in his workshop, he's got these shelves, and he screwed the lids to a bunch of like old jelly jars and peanut butter jars or whatever, and he screws the lids to this shelf he has on a diagonal, and then the jar is a clear jar, and it's got all sorts of nuts and bolts and screws and washers and the most random stuff that he just never throws out. Like, oh, hold on to that one, Davey, that might come in handy one day. And I'll say, hey Gramps, you got a whatever screw? He goes, let me check. And we go into the garage and he looks at this shelf, and all these little things that he saved along the way, he's like, oh, no, don't throw that out. Now, the guy lived through the Great Depression, and I think that had a very profound impact on the people of that generation. My grandmother recently passed away. I miss you, Grammy. Grammy was the same way. She would save like, the Tupperware that Chinese food comes in, or, dishes and things, and just, no, don't throw that, I'll find a use for that. And somehow they never had credit card debt, and somehow they didn't go out to eat all the time, and they were very, very resourceful with the things that they had, so they didn't have to go buy a lot of stuff. They were very good at repurposing things that they had, so they didn't have to go keep buying stuff. And all of this was part of that like forward thinking, hold on to that scavenger mentality. In survival training, it's constantly hammered into us to have that possum mentality, that scavenger mindset, that hey, we're walking along, but you see something that might be a good resource to just pick up and put in your pocket, put in your pack, put in your bag, to carry in your hand or over your shoulder for later use. Hey, we're going to be making a shelter, that log or that stick or those twigs, or hey, that vine, we could use that for something. Just having the idea to be aware of what the landscape around you. Now, landscape doesn't have to be like wilderness, woodlands. It could be like your urban environment in your office. Like, oh, I use those highlighters all the time. Oh, there's a couple over there, and they're for us to use for work. Instead of waiting until you're out, you're on your last one, you should have 1 or 2. I'm just going to take those. I'm not stealing them. I'm not hiding them. I'm not bringing them home. I'm going to leave them in my desk with them. When this one runs dry, the next one is ready to go. Because remember that 2 is 1 and 1 is none, right? So the possum mentality expands way beyond just survival skills or just prepping skills. The idea is being a scavenger. Quick story, my family and I went on vacation this past weekend, and we stopped, I have 3 little kids, so they're hungry all the time, and we stopped to grab something to eat. And when I was at survival school a couple weeks back, I got these tuna packets. It's like ready to go. You don't got to refrigerate it. You just tear it open, eat the tuna right out of the thing. Now, the last time I was eating it, it was delish, but I was like, man, I wish I had some mayonnaise to go with this, make it more like a tuna salad. So the other day, we're on vacation, and we stopped in one of those, amusement park concession stands, and they had all sorts of condiments. So they had ketchup and mustard and relish and this, and guess what they had? Mayonnaise packets out in the sun. Like, those things have been out there all day, every day, until somebody eats them, right? Good to go, no problem. Once you open it, either eat the whole thing or refrigerate it. So I just grabbed a handful and put it in my pocket, and with the intention of, hey, when I go back to survival school, I'll have my tuna packets that sit in my bag, no problem. They last forever, hot, cold, no problem, whatever. But I'll have the mayonnaise packets. Like, I would enjoy it better that way. So when we sat down to eat, my wife says she had grabbed me a burger. And I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, we'll go good on this right now? Some mayo. So she wasn't looking. I reached into my pocket. I pulled out a packet of mayo. I put it on my burger, mayo and ketchup. That's how I like it. And she goes, that came with mayonnaise on it? I said, no. She said, they put packets on the side? I said, no. She said, where'd you get the mayonnaise? I reached into my pocket and I pulled out a handful of mayonnaise packets. So my wife is always like, I guess she's kind of used to me, or maybe still getting used to me. And she's always fascinated by the random array of items that I have in my pocket. So I like cargo pants or cargo shorts, especially during the summertime. And I'll have some paracord in there, and oh man, a magic marker, and I don't know, some chapstick, and I don't know, a lot of random stuff. I have a lot of the same stuff all the time, but I'll find the random stuff that's in there is usually stuff that I find along the way. Another thing I found while we were, eating out was a packet of utensils. So instead of taking the extra ones and throwing them out, like, what a waste. Somewhere along the rest of this vacation, the kids are going to find some yogurt or some other thing, and they're going to be looking for some utensils. And I'll reach into my cargo pocket and I'll pull out silverware. Hey, if you could think of stuff that I should have, or things that you stock up on that maybe I'm not thinking about, or stuff that you stock up on that maybe somebody else is watching this or commenting this or reading the comments that they're not stocking up on, what things do you have like you in your radar for your like possum mentality? When you're walking about your day, your workplace, if you live in the city, if you live on, in suburbia, if you live like in a very rural environment where there's nobody else around, what are you looking for? I'm big on always, and this comes from survival school, thinking about my next fire. So I'm not a firefighter. I mean, like, I make a fire pit almost every night, or in the winter months when we're inside, I have a fireplace and I make fire almost every night. And I'm always looking for, good kindling and tinder sources and things that I could do, one, to make my own fire, and two, to teach my young kids on how to build a fire on their own. It's a thing that it's an important skill that I want them to learn. But what skills are you working on? What things are you always looking for? What are you like hoarding? I hate to say that word, but my wife gets a kick out. She says, you're a hoarder. Why do you got all this stuff? Until she needs something, and I got it. Just like Grammy and Grampy. The possum mentality is not just about grabbing a bunch of random stuff. It's going to be stuff that is like purposed for you. Your possum list is going to be different than my possum list. Your possum mentality is going to keep, different items on the radar than I would have on my radar. Think of the things that you use all the time, whether it's for your vehicle, for your home, for your vacation spot, bug out spot, whatever it is. But when you see it on sale, or you see it for free, or you see it on like Craigslist, Facebook, Marketplace, whatever, like, oh, that's a great deal for this thing that I know that I need, or I know that I could use, or man, I've been meaning to buy, and all of a sudden here it is for a fraction of the price I would pay in the stores. Hey man, that's part of the possum mentality also. So one of the ways that you like practice it is just starting to train your eye to look for the things you know that you need and finding them along the way for as cheap as you can or nothing at all. It's about adaptability. It's about not being too picky, about not being too attached to too many things, to being able to like roll with the changes, to be okay with making the changes, to be able to like adapt and survive. Man, that's what it's all about, is survival. So on such a small scale, the way that you develop these habits or develop that mindset is by practicing. Now, I'm not saying go start hoarding everything and just stockpiling all this stuff in your house or wherever. The next time you're on a hike, hey, look for some stuff that maybe if you're gonna be making a campfire, start looking for some kindling along the way. Oh, this might be good tinder source. This might be good for a tinder bundle. Hey, along the way. throw it on your pack, let it dry out a little bit while you're walking in the sun. When you get somewhere where you're going to make your fire, try to do it as primitive as you can. Try to like not use the lighter unless you absolutely have to. When you're going to do your next home improvement project, take a look around the house or any of those spots where maybe like I already have stuff for this. I can't tell you how many times I went and bought something that I already had in my garage or in my toolbox or in my workshop. I'm like, oh, I'm such an idiot. And I always find it after I opened up the new one and I can't return it anymore. Challenge yourself in the kitchen. See what kind of meal you can make with just the stuff that's in the fridge right now. Take a look around, see what's in the cabinets. Not in the front, the stuff you just bought at the grocery store that's up front, you know it's there. Like, move the stuff out of the way, reach into the back of the cabinet, start pulling some of the stuff out there. Pretend, hey, it's the post-apocalyptic whenever. We're all out of the fun stuff and the good stuff that the kids love to eat every day, and we're used to eating every day, and we got to start going into the back of the pantry. What are we going to cook from? That stuff. That's that possum mentality. How do you take the stuff that is less convenient and find a use for it? Put it to use, put it to practice, and let me know in the comment section below what parts are we missing, what parts are you working on, what parts that you think maybe somebody else should be working on. We don't give up, we team up, and there's nothing better than the conversations that some of these videos have been getting, and for me it's just a real blast because I'm enjoying putting out the content. You keep liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and I don't know, getting the word out there, and I will keep grinding and getting these videos out. And it's really cool, again, getting to know some of you guys from all over the world. Little Kyoshi Dave Herman in the back of his truck talking about the damn possum mentality. So if you made it this far and you like what I'm teaching and preaching, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and like this video. If you're loving it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you gotta have it, make sure you hit the bell notification and the little part where it says all notifications, and YouTube will let you know when the next video drops. If you're really digging it and you want more, you can find us on all social media platforms at 5 Elements Tactical. That's all I got for now, warriors. So until our paths cross again, pray for the best, prepare for the rest. I'm Kyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training. Thanks for watching.